Hey everybody, what's up? I thought I'd come out here and kind of give my thoughts on the presentation of the Nintendo Switch, which was revealed today, yesterday, depending on how you saw it. Because believe me, a lot of us, we saw it at a time that probably wasn't the best time for us, if you know what I mean. Um, but anyway, I thought I'd kind of talk about it and give you my thoughts overall on what was revealed, the information and details we were given. And right off the bat, they talked about a lot of this, the spec. Well, not necessarily the specs, but more along the lines of, what is involved as far as controllers and docking and all that. And what they presented was very, very intriguing. As far as the controllers, we do know that you can detach them when you want to take that, along with taking the Nintendo Switch console, which is the tablet, out of the dock, and you can also take the controllers as well off the I can't even think of the name right now. Hold on for a sec. Take Basically you can take the Joy Cons, they call it, off the Nintendo, controller, off the basically the handheld version of the handheld dock for them. I'm a little tired. Hold on, let me check here. Just want to make sure I get it all right. Or Joy-Con controller, whatever you call it. So, uh, let's see. Well, the Switch controller, let's just put it this way. The Joy-Cons, we know that you can detach from the Switch controllers, so, and attach them to the tablet. Sorry about that there. So we do know you can do that. And that enables you to take it on the go and play it like a portable game, or you can set it up, because they did show that one of the things you can do is you can take it and it has a kickstand attached, so you can pull the kickstand out and you can play it. You can set it on a table, like my laptop here is on the table. It's called tabletop, as they call it, and you can basically you can detach the controllers and you can play it like that as well. So that's we know about that. We all know we know about that in a sense. We already knew that with the trailers they gave us back in October, so we knew something like that was going to happen. Well, we do know they did say that you can link up to 8 switches together. I think that goes the same with the Joy Cons. So that's really interesting. So that's really neat to see or hear about. We do know that there will be Wi-Fi, depending on where you're at, and basically local multiplayer, which is good. Um, they also talked about that they will have an online service. Now, of course, you would think, well, didn't Nintendo have an online service before? Not particularly. It was mostly go online through Wi-Fi and all that. Online service basically is just like PlayStation Network and Microsoft is basically, if you don't have the PlayStation Network, you can't play certain games online. Same with the Microsoft Xbox Network or Xbox service. So basically, Nintendo is going to be following suit on that, and by following suit, they will essentially be having a pay service, a premium uh, network service, so you would have to pay for it. You would have to pay, I think, monthly. Hopefully, they'll have maybe what PlayStation and Microsoft have, and that is hopefully they'll have prepaid cards that will go for a certain amount of months, maybe a year, so you don't have to pay after that. You could just play for as long as that card goes. And so that is an interesting that's an interesting new revenue for Nintendo to go in because, like I said, most of the time we've ever played online games is just connecting to our internet, and that's about it. So with them doing the service and everything, yeah, we'll be able to go online and all that. But even if we're online, we won't be able to play certain online games or go online against opponents unless we have the online service now or the online network. Now, Nintendo has said that for a while, a little after launch or probably around launch time, they will present the service to the consumers, to the users for free. And that'll probably go on for a temporary period, which is going to be spring and summer, sort of a trial period. And then they're going to switch into the pay period, which basically means if you want to stick with it and play your games and play online against opponents and all that, go ahead. You can go ahead and do that, but you have to pay a premium. And again, we don't know exactly what the price point is for that premium to do the online service. And like I said, hopefully they might consider doing the prepaid cards, uh, the prepaid cards like what PlayStation and Xbox do for their services, so that at least you get a month, maybe 3 months, maybe a year's worth of online service without having to constantly pay monthly off your debit card or credit card or whatever. Now, what's also interesting about this is um, going back to the controllers, because I got a little off track there. The controllers basically are really unique in their own right because both have analog sticks, I believe. Both have analog sticks. Um, see what we have here. I'm trying to get a good image here. Both have analog sticks. The right controller has an analog stick and a home button on it, a home button underneath the analog stick, and it has an A, B, X, Y buttons on top and a little directional pad on top of that. And you can also press down on the controllers as an extra button. And they also have the capabilities. They have a sensor in there. They showed it that they will also be able to read amiibos. So you won't have to worry about, oh, what about my amiibos? What do I do with them? You'll still be able to play the amiibos on the uh, on the Switch, and it'll read it. It has a sensor in there that will allow you to read. They'll allow it to read the amiibo. What's also interesting about this as well is the fact that one of them, the left-hand controller, has directional buttons instead. Doesn't have A, B, X, or Y. Just has directional buttons. The analog stick is on top. You have a minus button on top of that, like a select button on top. And then on the bottom of that, you have a capture button, which will allow you to capture, from what they said, photos of your gameplay and eventually video of your gameplay as well that you can share on social media. So what that particularly means, hopefully in the future, because I know Joe Vargas, Angry Joe, is one of the uh, is one of those people that is one of those gamers and reviewers that is against Nintendo always flagging, always copyrighting the videos. This might bring a little sense of comfort maybe to him, knowing that the possibility of capturing video in the future with the Nintendo Switch, with of game footage and all that, is going to be a possibility. So the capture button at the bottom of the left-hand controller, like I said, right now, from what they said, will be for like taking pictures of your footage, as well as eventually taking video as well. So hopefully that means also uploading it to YouTube. We'll have to see. Um, so, so that's pretty cool in its own right. It also has a camera on front of one of them. I think the camera, I think the camera, let me see here. That's me hitting the keyboard. Um, the camera is, okay, here we go. This will give me a little bit more on this. The camera, I think, is on the left. I believe is on the left-hand Joy-Con. So that will allow you to, because of course you got the directional pad and everything. So you have the direction, you have the not directional, but you have the capture button on there. So if it has a camera, so obviously, like I said, the capture button has to be on the left-hand joystick, or Joy-Con, I should say. Now, according to the picture I'm looking at here, the you have an on both Joy-Cons, the top of both Joy-Cons, you have an L button and an R button. You have a minus button, of course, like I was talking about. You have the directionals, you have the capture. Basically, everything's here. Everything I just talked about is being explained right here in this picture that I'm looking at. So yeah, the right hand controller basically on the bottom of that is going to have the home button. On the bottom of the left hand controller will be the capture button. The buttons on the right hand controller, on the right hand Joy-Con, will be A, B, X, and Y. The directional one will be just directional buttons. And then here it also states that on the side of the controllers will be rail buttons. Yeah, you'll have some rail buttons as well that will also serve when you turn it around as L and B buttons. So that's pretty cool. Or L and R buttons. You know, kind of like when you, instead of playing it like this, you want to play it like this. It's like instead of like using it like this, you want to play it like this. The L and R buttons will be like this, will be on top. And from what they also said is they will have a handle just like they do with the Nintendo Wii remote, and the addition of it will make it more sturdy so that you don't drop the controller as easily and or throw the controller as easily when you're moving around. And they've also added L and B buttons on top of the straps so that when you put it over the top of your controller and you play it, like I say, you play it sideways, you'll be able to play it still, you'll still be able to use those L and R buttons on top when you play it vertically, with even with the strap on. So that's pretty. So like I said, that's really unique. It's really cool to see. It's really cool to see. Now, one of the other things they talked about, one of the other things they talked about was the lifespan, because I know one of the things a lot of us users are concerned about is the lifespan of the controller. I mean, of the game of the console itself. Because if we want to take it on the go, we want to know how much time do we have with the how much battery life, I should say, are we going to have on the go? Now they did say that you can use a USB cord. Current, I think it's the more current one, the three prong one or something like that. You can use a USB cord, which is good. You can also use the AC adapter that comes with it to charge it while you're on the go. So let's say you go to your sisters or your aunts or your uncles or your grandparents, or you're on vacation and you're in a hotel like in Las Vegas or Reno or New York, and you want to charge your Switch, your tablet. You can do that by bringing a USB cord. Like I say, I think it's the three prong one or something like that, the more current one, as well as the AC plug with you, so that you'll be able to charge it up on the way, or you'll be able to charge it on the go. Now, one other thing about it is to connect it to your TV. It does have an HDMI. It does have an HDMI port to it, so you connect it right to your HDMI on your television or whatever you use for HDMI to get HDMI game footage or HDMI footage onto your HD television. You'll be able to do that. And this is the camera. This is what I was talking about. The camera basically is on the Joy-Con. Like I said, it looks like it's the left-hand Joy-Con, I believe. I believe it's the left-hand one. Let me check. Well, it could be. No, it's no. Actually, the camera is on the right-hand Joy-Con. I'm sorry about that. My mistake. It's on the right-hand Joy-Con, and it might be on both. I don't know, but it's on the right-hand one according to what I just looked at. And basically, it will detect motion. Like if you do rock paper scissors or whatever, it can detect that. Um, it'll be able to see how far something is at. How far something. Basically, it'll be able to see how far the distance is of something as well. And I think that's supposed to add to what to some of the gameplay you'll get, because some of the games do kind of, I think, capitalize on that, or will capitalize on that as well. Because one thing I did notice about Nintendo, with the Wii and the Wii U, especially the Wii U, is they would license out to third-party people to get them bigger sensors, Wii U sensors to attach to the Wii U or the Wii, so that people can play the game at a farther distance. And I think that's where the Joy-Con camera comes in. And again, that also, I think, contributes to possibly pictures and video being taken as well. But yeah, really interesting, really intriguing. But getting back to also to the battery life that I was talking about, because the one thing we as fans and as casual gamers or hardcore gamers, one of the things we always want to know about is exactly how long is the lifespan going to be on the go. Now, like I say, if you go to Las Vegas or you go and take a trip to New York or you go to a relatives, you need you need to take a USB cord, mostly which I think is the most recent one, the three prong. I think that's what it is. Or take the AC adapter with you, plug it in, and you'll be able to charge your tablet version of the tablet portion of the Nintendo Switch while you're away. You won't have to worry about it dying and you not having something to do while you're bored or you're relaxing or whatever. So overall, the presentation was pretty good. I liked it. I really did. They did introduce the Wii Pro controller, which is basically like a Pro controller that we have now, so that if you don't want to use the Joy-Con controller that much, for certain games, and there are going to be games that are going to mostly not really be suited for the Joy-Con controller, as a whole or separately, when you detach them, the Pro controller steps in and takes care of that. So that's really good to see. Now, as far as games go, because that is one of the things we as fans, we like I said, as casual gamers and hardcore gamers, the game more mostly intrigued with as well, and that is the games. Well, according to what they said, and we got a little bit more detail as well. These are the games that are supposed to be um, released on the same day as the Switch. So, by the way, the launch day for the Switch is March 3rd, 2017, this year, and I do plan to pre-order it as best I can, and so I can get my hands on it. Now, these are the games that are set though to launch alongside the Switch on March 3rd, and there could be more. But these are the games that are set to launch on March 3rd along with the Switch. The highly anticipated Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which looks really good, and I cannot wait to play that. 1-2 Switch. Now, 1-2 Switch is a unique game because, from what I understand, from what I've seen and everything, is you're not looking at the screen, you're just looking at your opponent. You're looking at your fellow person, your fellow man or woman, and you're playing a game like that. And I guess on the screen, it keeps points, it keeps score of who was better at what they did. So basically, 1-2 Switch seems to be a hybrid of party games, because basically that's what they said. It's something like a party game, but it's a hybrid of party games and video game. Basically, that's what it is. So, it's like if um, you did Pictionary, and you kept score. That's what this is kind of like. It's like you're doing Pictionary with the controllers, and it keeps score about that. So that's nice to. So that's going to be a unique hybrid of a game, and that being 1-2 Switch. The other game is going to be the Switch version of Just Dance 2017, which we know is already released on Wii U and Wii. Then alongside that will be Super Bomberman R. I have not seen the trailer of that yet, but I've heard a lot of people are excited for it. And then the other game to wrap that up on March 3rd will be Skylanders Imaginators, which is the Cursed Tiki Temple level pack. Oh, wait a minute. Uh, yeah, Skylanders Imaginators, which wraps up the March 3rd launch release of games along with the Switch. And then basically 9 days later, you will get a Cursed Tiki Temple level pack on the 12th. So March 3rd, the games again coming out alongside the Switch will be Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 1-2 Switch, Just Dance 2017, Super Bomberman R, and Skylanders Imaginators. I can tell you this, if they do want to have a launch title to be launched alongside the Switch, the 1-2 Switch has to be the pack-in game. It has to be. It has to be the pack-in game because they did that with the Wii. I think they did that with the Wii U. They need to do it with the Switch. But the one game I know is going to really sell in a big way will be Legend of Zelda. I just got that feeling. Now, sorry about that interruption, guys. I live in a home that basically, you got to be careful about certain people being up and about because they might interrupt your videoing. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, the those basically are the games that are due to launch on March 3rd with the debut of the Switch. Now, was supposed to also come out around the launch time as well, basically around the same time frame, spring, summer, mostly spring, maybe mostly spring, mostly spring, early summer. I would assume this is at launch window, so this is basically like within the time frame of when the Switch comes out, maybe a month or two after. But the games that are scheduled to come out around a little after the day, a little afterwards in the spring and possibly early summer are Has Been Heroes, which some people say is going to be a good one. Snipper clips, cut it out together. Um, I guess those are games. Snippet clips, cut it out together, something like that. All right, so that's one. I am Setsana, so sounds interesting. Mario 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is coming. And apparently, this is more of a Switch version of the game, of course, and it adds, I think, a little bit more depth to what you had with Mario 8. And from what I understand, Platoon is also going to be a playable track in the deluxe version of Mario Kart 8, and which could probably pretty much confirm that Splatoon is part of the Mario universe. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Maybe we'll get some Splatoon racers. I think we already got those anyway, but we'll have to see. Uh, Lego City Undercover is coming out. Sonic Mania, which has been already talked about, everybody's looking forward to that one's coming. And then Arms, which they showed off here, and it's basically, essentially, it's uh, a fight. It's a fighting game, but it's more of a fighting. It's more of a it's more of a fighting game in the veins of Punch Out, but it's a little bit more different. You see, you get a variety of characters. You can play against friends, online, local multiplayer. You can go against the AI. But basically, it's got a bunch of characters in it. And like I said, it's basically a fighting game in the veins of Punch Out. But the biggest difference is your arms basically stretch for long ways. It's basically a hybrid from what they said of a boxing game and a first person shooter. So, and you play with the controllers like this. And then if you want to move, you move this way. If you want to, they could do that. That's how you punch. And if you want to move, if you want to curve it, that's how you do it. And then you kind of move like this, and that's how you move your character. But that's arms. And that basically concludes the games that are meant to come out or scheduled to come out spring, summer of this year, a little after the debut of the Switch. And then later on this year, some other games as well. Some probably later on towards the holiday season, fall and summer. Splatoon 2 is coming out in the summer. We just don't know when. NBA 2K18 is coming out in September of 2017. Elder Scrolls Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim is coming out in fall of this year. And then in holiday 2017, you have Super Mario Odyssey, which is a really unique take on the Mario game. Basically, Mario, uh, basically it's in the veins of Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 64, just a big open world thing, similar to Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 almost. Basically, it seems that you got Mario, I should say, in the real world, in the Mushroom World. You got some new minions for Bowser to order around. People are talking about Bowser being in a pimp suit. But what it looks like to me, the storyline here, this Odyssey, is it's Mario going on this Odyssey, on this trip to all these different lands and worlds, including ours, to stop the wedding of Bowser and Peach. That's what I'm thinking it is. So because you see the clues right there, so obviously he has to stop a wedding. But those are scheduled for certain portions of this year. Now, here are some games that are scheduled possibly for this year and could be moved back to next year. We have Arcade Archives. I don't know what that's about, but I've got a feeling that will be this year, and it might be a nostalgic trip down Nintendo's memory lane. We have Degaiza 5 Complete. Don't know when that's going to be. We have Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. We have Farming Simulator, Fast Remix, FIFA 18, Fire Emblem Warriors, Minecraft, Minecraft Story Mode, The Complete Adventure, Project Sonic 2017, which we all hope the Freedom Fighters of SatAM and the comics will debut in. We have Puyo Tetris, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, Rhyme. We have Shin Megami Tensei or whatever, brand new title. It's got a game coming out. Siberia 3, Steep, and then the surprise to me, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers. And what's unique about this is you can play in high definition mode and you can play in the classic 2D Super Nintendo mode. And it looks like there are going to be some newer challengers at the end, like maybe the evil versions of Ryu and Ken, I guess. I don't know. So those are the games slated for release at the launch of the system, a little after the system, during the year, and possibly during the year and into next year. Those are the games to be released along with the Nintendo to be released, not exclusive, well, some exclusively and some multi-platform wise for the as part of the Nintendo Switch. Now, I was talking about the battery life earlier, and the battery life, according to what they said, and a lot of people have confirmed this, depends on the gameplay. And it could depend on the settings of how you set on the settings that you put for your screen, like power wise and lighting and all that. But if you play a game, certain games will vary from 2 to 6 hours. They are saying that Breath of the Wild, the Zelda game, could be a 3-hour game. Could be a game that takes 3 hours of your battery life away if you're doing it on the go. So again, it all depends on what kind of games you're playing. The 1-2 switch, I think, is going to be the more extended one because it's supposed to be like one of those party game hybrids. So, but yeah, the battery life extends from 2 to 6 hours, and like I mentioned earlier, you have you can use a USB cord. I think the more recent ones, and an AC adapter, probably the one that comes with it, to charge it on the go. So basically, that's the battery life right there for Nintendo Switch. So overall, I have to say that Nintendo did a good job here with the presentation, kind of telling us, giving us an idea of how this thing's going to work, what the operating life is. They've also said that the Joy-Con controllers will not just be in the standard classic gray, but they will also be neon red, neon blue, and other multiple colors as well. So that's interesting. Um, but overall, I really like I really like what they did here. They really gave some good visual presentations to help promote what games are going to be part of the system and how the certain, like I said, certain parts of the system work. And I'm really, really looking forward to getting this. And this is a system that I think that if you're somebody that doesn't want to have a video game system in the living room, like my mom, she doesn't like to have the Wii U in the living room at all. this would be the kind of system that could solve that because we have grandkids, and the grandkids could easily just take the thing, put it on the table, probably put a headphone piece in or something like that, or lower the volume, and they could play the game while she's watching, like say TBN or the Hallmark Channel. So this probably so if you're that kind of a person, that solves this. That solves that problem right there. That kind of answers your prayers right there. So overall, can't wait to play this. Oh, another thing from what somebody told me at work they found out is when you take it on the go and you're playing it portably, either as a tabletop or on the go, it's presented in 720, which is good. And when you put it back into the dock to charge and play it on the television, it goes to 1080p. So really nice there, really cool, really good transition. So you'll still get high definition no matter how you play it. But overall, really enjoyed what they gave. They showed off here, and can't wait to see what else they have in store for the Switch. I have a feeling you're going to get an eShop here, so you'll get a virtual console as well, in as a part of that. So really looking forward to see what else they present to us in the future. But that's all I really have to say about the Nintendo Switch presentation and what was revealed, what was talked about, what games were revealed, what the what details and specs were revealed about the system. Yes, they are still doing 32 gigs or whatever they call it. So that's just Nintendo for you, but I guess it's more of a cost saving measure. But overall, really good, a really good presentation, and hopefully Nintendo this is this will be the system that puts them back on top because if not, Nintendo is going to end up in the direction of Sega, and they're going to turn into mostly a game producing company instead of a system producing company. So overall, that's all I have to say about it. I wish Nintendo luck with this. I will definitely be picking one up, pre-ordering it, and have it have it in my room. That's where it's going to go, in my room. So let me know what you guys think down below about it. What are you looking forward to with the Nintendo Switch? And I will talk to y'all later.